Hello again, welcome to another episode of Brenda's Musings. So today I went with friends to pick out a printer. And I was thinking about what's important to me for a printer. And I thought obviously the cost of running the printer. So there's the idea of, how much does the printer cost itself? How much do the ink cartridges cost? If there's servicing that needs to be done, how would I go about that? Do I have to ship it off somewhere, or can it be done locally? Or is it even worth shipping? Or is it even worth fixing? Our society is such a throwaway society. I think about my parents and especially my grandparents, and how, there were all these people who could fix things. They could fix TVs, and they could fix radios, and they could fix cars, and they could fix, lawnmowers and whippersnippers. And I still remember there used to be a truck that would come by in the summertime, and you could hear them ringing, almost like children would run for ice cream. Well, this was like a scissor sharpening or a hedge shear sharpening truck kind of thing that would come around the neighborhood. It was always exciting. And we don't have any of that sort of stuff anymore. Everything is just so disposable. Like, I was thinking about the printers. Well, you get a printer for $100, and your ink might cost you $120. So what do? When the ink runs out, do you throw out the printer and just buy a new printer with ink? It sort of struck me, and I had my hand 4 cartridges of ink, and it was over $100 worth of ink for me to purchase for our current printer. And I started thinking about it. I thought, this is just nuts. So I put the ink back, praying I don't run out of ink before I decide what to do next. But then, you start weighing all the pros and cons and stuff. Anyway, my friends were able to come to some conclusions far before I did. Partly perhaps because it was something that they needed right in the moment, and I've got the luxury of time. But I think about how we just discard things so easily, and yet some of the things that we don't discard are some of the things we should, like some of these false beliefs that we hold from childhood. All this BS about not being good enough, or not living up to somebody else's expectations of us. There's that damn word again, that expectation word. And this is stuff that is, should be so easily discarded, and yet we hold on to it, and we actually build an identity around it. And I thought, talk about insanity, right? First of all, we're building up, it's a false belief because we believe it to be true, but the person or persons who we associate with sort of labeling us a certain way may never even have done that. It's just, so many times, it's just our perception. And, we put far too much weight into what other people think of us. And it's a societal thing. It's something we learn. It's definitely not something that we're born with. And for what? Who cares? Even if it's your closest family members, we morph and we change so much in our lives that things that they hold to be true for us when they first meet us may not be true for us, 5, 10, certainly not 20 years later, to a large degree. And even if they are true, so what? I don't know. It's crazy. So the things that we could so easily discard, we hold on to for far too long, as far as I'm concerned. And, I'm just like the rest of you. I've got my own baggage that I'm sure I've been dragging around for years and years. And, every year I divest myself of a little bit more. But, to have that freedom of a child, and that was a whole other conversation that we had the other night that I'll maybe muse about tomorrow, but about how we are as children, and then how we are as, really old, really old people. and how much more closer we are to being childlike again. Anyway, that's my music for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow.